I didn't open my own fantasy grounds.
All right, what we got here? 60. Oops, wrong. Stream overlay. There we go. There's the D&D overlay. Okay. Let's see. Where did they... Oh, there it is. That's the one. Okay, 60 is... Come on, Fantasy Grounds, you can scroll. There we go. Oh, very nice. Oh, dang, those... I have to turn up the desktop volume so you guys all pick up. And so those alerts are very loud. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Number 60. Warriors come and go, but legends are forever. What is a legend or hero that you admire? This would be an interesting question. And if you don't know any legends or heroes of Sword Coast or whatever, Faerun, feel free to make shit up, because I'm not expecting you to know the lore of D&D as a whole.
It up.
True.
Vecna.
Also, thank you for that subscription, Quick. Appreciate it, as always. Vecna?
Yes. Big hero of mine.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Cheers to Vecna.
Cheers to Vecna.
And Tortoise, of course, would be the 10-armed demon frog of Doom. It's the best thing that's ever been created.
Naturally.
Of course. Oh, Coco. Excuse me, buddy. Alright, how about you, Jinku? What kind of tales do you admire?
Honestly, she doesn't put much stock in, the old tales. She thinks of heroes and legends as the people around her that have made a big impact, and blow a little smoke up one of your asses right now, but Zyara is kind of a hero and legend to her because she always seems to make the right choices and gets us out of hot water.
Damn, that's a lot of smoke.
Duh.
Suddenly we're hotboxing the D&D session.
Hey, you said if you don't know, make shit up.
I know. That's fine. Well, Zara, coming off that high praise, how about you?
She'd probably say, oh God, I don't know. Possibly she'd say her goddess, just because she's aware that the temples have probably made 90% of the stories up about the gods and goddesses anyway. So, I mean, technically, then it's legend.
Well, there you go. All right, and how about you, Mix?
I would have to say
Hey, Isaac, welcome.
The Mad Alchemist of the South.
Okay.
I know there was one in one of the books I read, but I can't remember his name.
Okay. Nice. That sounds cool. Good stuff. All right. Well, let's go ahead. close that out here. So it has been a hot minute here since you guys have gotten yourself into a predicament. We'll pop the map up here and see if that helps refresh any memories. Somebody want to give us a quick rundown of what y'all got up to last time?
Boo said he was smarter than a mind flayer, and then a mind flayer was like, "Wanna bet?"
I was just standing by that a little while ago, even though I completely forgot why we were in trouble. And you know what? Boo stands by it.
We're also standing next to these pods, which basically contain, like, what did you say, like little mind flayer leeches or whatever,
One of
Like,
them did. The rest
like
were empty.
baby mind flayers.
Of a sort, yeah. A tadpole thing, yeah.
I'm gonna go with leeches.
Yeah, I guess that'd be a somewhat more accurate description to what they do to you, but
But yeah, we went underground to explore things, and now we gonna die. But you know, Boo had to do it to him.
It's all right. We gonna die together.
we got this, guys. Don't worry about it. I'll survive.
all right.
That sparks a lot of confidence.
Boo's like, "Don't worry, I'll survive, and I'll write stories about you all, so
Maybe.
everyone will be able to know the tales of my awesome life that featured you guys
Right.
sometimes."
Hello, both cats on my desk. All right. Well, so yes, we did leave off here in the middle of this fun underground little complex here. You guys traveled through the sewers away, through some old sewers that had been unused for a while, had a nice fight with some fun teleporty spiders and their caretakers of sorts that were living down here, among other things. And yeah. So yeah, where we left off, Boo was just mouthing off about his big old brain. And yeah, so this mind flayer walked around the corner right at the end of last session, and said to Boo telepathically, "Are you sure about that assessment?" And you turn around, Boo, because I think if I remember right, you were still kind of looking at this jar of mind flayer tadpole thing here. And you find yourself looking at a mind flayer who looks somewhat familiar. You've seen him once before, a long, long time ago. And he's here. Actually, let me get a. I actually have a better picture. I have like a full picture of him here. Let me get that for you so you can see what he looks like. Here you go.
But what if I don't want to know what he looks like?
Too bad. You get it
Sometimes
anyway.
it's nice to forget things.
I'll just think about the brain puppies.
Think about the brain puppies. There you go.
Sayara still
I'm
wants
not a
a brain
fan of
puppy.
them. Jinky's not a fan. Last time she had a run-in with those, well, you were there.
Yeah.
If we survive this, does Sayara get a brain puppy?
So, as you all see, like Boo turn around and those of you, some of you probably also saw them come around the corner here, and this Mind Flayer is kind of just slowly looking all of you over here, and is like, so, you all made it out last time, it seems, and now you find yourself coming back to me directly. I guess this makes things easier for us.
Yeah, it does.
Well, it is a shame that you managed to find my little hideaway down here in the sewers, but I think it may be useful to us to have some of the recent notable heroes of sort of Waterdeep under our control, don't you think?
Oh no?
I'm sorry, what?
No, I don't want to be under control. I'm under my own control. Just fine, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good. I mean, what's going on? You cut us in on this, maybe. It doesn't have to be a problem, but like, you're not going to end up controlling us. That's not how this works.
Well, I'm afraid that isn't really something for you to decide now, is it? And he kind of raises one of his hands and kind of clicks one of his, like, snaps his fingers of one of his hands here. And you hear the sound of, it's kind of like pitter-pattering sound of feet running towards here. And all of you go ahead and roll up initiative.
Oh, damn.
I'd rather roll for invisibility and run away.
That's
Right?
my plan. Don't wear it out.
Sarah has invisibility.
Cool. We can be friends.
We'll run away pissing ourselves together. We can run the tavern, just the two of us.
Oh, that's fine. I'll just follow the stream of urine.
Of course. All right. So it looks like, Boo, looks like you're up first up in the turn order here. You hear, this kind of pitter-pattering of feet coming from somewhere behind the Mind Flayer, assumedly in one of these hallways that you guys saw as you'd come in. What'd you do?
This Sirenscape is real just adding to the
I know,
to the
right?
mood right here.
They had a pretty great little mood for Mind Flayer battle.
Yay!
Okay, so I'll do. I'll move forward here.
Okay.
Do step forward to right here, and I'll
Okay.
use the gust of wind on Sparky here.
Okay.
60-foot long, 60-foot long, 10-foot wide line.
Okay.
And, over there. He's got to succeed on a save. He succeeded.
Okay.
I think. nothing happens, but it's like difficult terrain, basically, in a 10-foot wide.
Okay.
And like I'm intending to kind of cover that doorway with this gust of wind.
So it's like
blown.
a constantly like gusting like column.
Yeah, it's a
of wind
1-minute
terrain?
duration. I got to put the concentration on myself.
Okay. 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 And he isn't like, so since he succeeded, he isn't like blown back. He's just like in this wind.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
If he starts, I guess that was supposed to be when he starts its turn. They make that save, or they're pushed back.
Okay.
Is
All right.
how it went. I shouldn't have rolled that save. And that's my turn. Right.
And
That's
his hair is blowing, and he looks fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, as this column of wind is like blasting through this pretty narrow little hallway down here. It's not particularly huge. Like you can see him kind of like raising his hands like in front of him, kind of like this, to try to like shield himself. His little mouth tentacles are kind of doing a little dance, that kind of thing. All right, which brings us to, oh, why did that jump all the way down there? That's not correct. Hold on. There we go. Sarah. What are you doing?
Checking for exits. I think Zyara is going to cast Bless. Let's see, up to 3 creatures. Oh no, I have to leave someone out.
Who do you like the least?
I mean, in character, that... you can take care of yourself, Mix. I know you can. You're the strongest one, right?
And Zyara goes on Nexus hit list.
Aren't we all already on that list?
I think you all are on like each other's own lists. All
Well,
right.
Zyara was the only one I would have saved.
Oof.
No more.
Hey, I just said that you know how to take care of yourself.
All right.
Technically, I left myself out of the charm as well, so,
True. And that's just like an extra 1d4 on their stuff, right?
Yeah, it's a extra 1d4 to either a save or an attack roll.
Cool. All right. Anything else aside from the bless?
No, I think I'm gonna stay where I am, because I'm at a pretty good area to run in and heal anyone who needs it.
Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Which brings us to Nihilor, the Mind Flayer here. What was that save? It was a strength save, right? Yeah, it looks like it was strength save. Okay. Let me roll that here real quick.
16 is looking to, that's my DC.
Okay. He rolled a 19. So he stays put where he is, still blowing in the wind though, but not moving backwards. So you kind of see him, kind of straining against this blast of wind here. Dust is kind of kicking up around the place. I mean, you guys are in kind of a natural cavern here, so this wind is kind of, knocking loose all sorts of, bits and bobs of dirt and crud, and little bits of stone and things. And you see him raise a hand in your direction here, Boo. All right. So you feel this encroachment kind of pressing in on your mind from all sides. Like you're there, you're concentrating, you're trying to keep this wall of wind up here, and you can like just feel these just strange sensations kind of like poking away around the edges. But you manage to fight it off. Which brings us to Mix.
Is there a reason I'm restrained?
I think that must have been from last time. Let me clear that effect off of you here. You're not restrained at the moment. There you go.
Okay. Since Mix has big balls, he's gonna run straight up to the Mind Flayer.
Okay. That gust of wind affects everybody going into it, right?
Well, yeah. So the way it works is it blasts away from me for the spell's duration. And it just says each creature that starts its turn in that line has to do this save.
Okay. All right. So if you're running in front of Boom Mix, you're going to be running into this wind wall. Are you still doing that?
Do I have to roll the con save when I run into it?
It's a strength save.
It'd be his next turn.
Yeah,
if he
it'd be
started
your next turn. So like you'd be able to run in.
Oh, I ain't
do
gonna be
thing.
there at my next turn. So yeah, I'm going straight in.
All right. Boom, Mix runs up. What you doing?
I'm gonna Thunder Step
Ooh,
right up next to this dude. I think I'm
Nice.
far enough away not to hit Mix. Or Boo.
And if you aren't, well.
I was gonna say, would Mix actually care if he wasn't?
Okay, is that half damage on a save?
Yeah, it'll calculate it.
Ooh, very nice. All right. Let's see, and
And I'm gonna bounce over here. I can move up to 120 feet.
that's right. Okay, that's right.
Nice.
Very nice. All right, so Mix, you bop in there. You let out your thunder step right in front of this guy. Like he, pulls his hands back even further to kind of cover his eyes here as this blast of thunder like strikes like directly in front of you at him here. You pop right in, pop right out. Back out of this wind wall, over into the main part of the room. Anything else, Mix?
Yep, I'm gonna bounce 85 feet away from him. He's within range of all my other ranged cantrips, so I'm just gonna sit back here and throw stuff at him.
All right. All right. So, Mix, you are, you're back there in the back of the room, and you see, like around in various locations around like the walls in the back of this room are like, small cracks, small like things like you would expect in like any cave. Small cracks, small holes, small things, and you see, starting to pour out of the hole like a hole in the wall directly to the west of you is this swarm of these strange rats that you've seen before a couple times. Like you guys saw them, in the tunnels on the way here. You saw them when you were, quote unquote, dead, in that back room, in the fight club. And there's this kind of seething little swarm of them, with their little glowy brain hat, coming out of this wall here.
There's literally nothing about this fight that I like.
So this swarm of cranium rats here, they pop out of this wall, and they kind of see you back here on your own, and they start moving in your direction here. And they try to bite at you. And completely miss. Like you're still kind of coming back off this thunder step here, and these cranium rats are swarming up around you, trying to bite you, but you're still kind of in the zone here, with this thunder step you just completed, and managed to dodge out of the way of their little weird mouths going on. Jinku.
Oh, wait, these rats couldn't have come at a better time. I'm not really going to be any good against Mr. Model there without getting close, and I have no intention of getting close to him. So, I imagine I probably would have been looking around for an exit as well, seeing Mix in the corner, that he was in trouble, and then I'm gonna move that away,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna shoot at the rat with my bow.
All right. Fire away. And that hits. Your longbow strikes. This arrow kind of
nice.
pierces into this kind of cluster of rats all kind of seething over themselves. It's disgusting. And this arrow kind of strikes in the middle of them, and you see like some of these rats are struck by this arrow and they die. And like their bodies, as they're kind of impaled on this arrow, are still kind of like caught in this seething mass of other rats.
I have to ask, is it that situation that happens sometimes with rats where all their tails get tangled?
A rat king?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it'd be somewhat akin to a rat king. Like they're not like their
Yeah.
tails aren't tied up like a rat king's is. But I mean, it's kind of similar looking thing that you have happen with there. There's a little
That's
swarm of them
gross.
all kind of going all over each other. Yeah.
Would you describe the swarm as undulating?
Yes, undulating would be a good word.
Alright.
Excellent. Makes me hate it even more.
Cool. All the more reason to smash it.
But way to use your $2 words.
There you go.
And that's all I'm gonna do.
All right, sounds good. So, Jinku, like you've moved over here, Mixture over here. Jinku, you kind of start hearing some more weird sounds to the east of you here. And you see another swarm of these rats coming out of another hole in the eastern wall behind you here. And these little fuckers move up your direction. They don't quite manage to get to you here. And let's see here. Hold on. Let's see here. Okay, so this little swarm of weird rats kind of gets close to you here. They're not close enough to bite you yet, but you feel this kind of strange kind of fog seemingly come over your mind for a moment there. From like you're looking at these rats and you just kind of feel this haze kind of encroaching on your mind here off of these guys, but you manage to shake it off. It doesn't have any effect on you this time. All right. Boo and Torta, Zara, you're all up here still in the front of the room. And you've been hearing this kind of pitter-pattering down the hallway behind this mind flayer here. And you see come around the corner here into this gust of wind, fan favorite brain puppies. One of them.
Brain puppy!
One of them is here. It's so cute. Oh, it's adorable. You just want to adopt him. His name's Ted.
What the hell kind of name is Ted for a brain puppy?
As he comes around the corner into this
I'm a rename him Bartholomew.
into this
Oh my
wind,
god, really?
and he kind of comes into this kind of column here, and like he's not a very big creature, and I'd imagine he'd probably have some difficulty moving forward once he got around this corner, so he doesn't manage to get very far. He kind of gets a little bit in front of the mind flayer here, but not too much farther. You can see it's kind of digging the claws at the end of its paws here into the ground here, trying to move. Thankfully, it's pretty aerodynamic, being a little brain with feet. So he seems to manage to get through the wind okay, but it's still pretty difficult for a little guy like him. Poor little guy.
I just want to, rub my head against him.
He wants to rub himself against the inside of your head.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Ultimate snuggles.
Finally, something
Forever
like you
snuggles.
like.
Right? Right. All right, and Zara, you're thinking about this brain puppy and wondering how it might be a good pet, and maybe reconsidering that a little bit. When you hear some more weird noises from behind you, and yet another swarm of these disgusting rats comes out of a hole in the southeast corner and begins kind of
Not a
making
fan
its
of
way
rats.
across the room towards you, but they do not get particularly close. Torta, shit's going on.
I'm not into it.
Torta's gonna do his favorite thing, start spinning.
Yeah!
Watch
Do a barrel roll!
my favorite words in this game. I'm gonna use a bonus action to pop out these extra arms,
Nice.
and we're gonna jump right behind this son bitch.
Holy shit, it's the 10-armed Doom Frog!
And we're gonna hit him 5 times.
Legend.
Nice.
And this is radiant damage. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Not against him, no.
That's 1 punch in the face.
Man, I hope a 29 hits.
Yeah, right?
2 punches in the face.
Nice.
We got
Oh.
3 more. There we go. That's 3. And number 4. Come on. And the last one. Here we go. Let's kill the sumbitch.
Well done, sir. Well done.
5 for 5. Can't get any better.
Nice. Very nice. All 5 hits. You're raining blows down on this guy. Very, very nice.
Well,
Which-
it could have been better. You could have killed him.
True.
I'm trying. I didn't run away. Sissy.
So, as you're raining blows on this guy, like, you look to your right and you see, like, up the hallway, another one of these little brain puppies bounding towards you. And it comes up to you, Torta, here. And let's see here. Ooh.
No!
So this intellect devourer comes bounding towards you here, Torta, as you're raining blows on Neolor here. Comes up behind you, and as you're finishing these last couple blows on the Mind Flayer here, you feel this presence encroaching on your mind, and you just kind of feel this dullness washing over you here. And you take 10 psychic damage. And let me roll some things here. Hold on, what's your intelligence here?
It's 12.
12. Ooh, lucky. All right, so you feel this kind of wave of dullness washing over you here, and you find yourself stunned by this for a turn. Which brings us back around to the top with Jinku. Rats to your right, rats to your left. Mix in the middle.
Indeed.
Also deserving
Indeed.
the punches.
This is a really, really weird sandwich.
It is. I'm not a fan of this sandwich. Maybe we can go get some grilled cheese after this.
Man, where are those nuggers when you need them?
Right? God damn.
Those chicken
So
nuggets.
I'm gonna turn to this new swarm, and I'm gonna do something I don't normally do. I'm gonna use one of my spells. I'm gonna use Burning Hands.
Ooh, popping out the magic. Nice.
Let's try. Jinku's not great with her magic.
Well, for your sake, we'll hope it goes. Okay, is
Luckily,
that
this
like
one does damage no matter what. So
nice? Go ahead and roll the half. Nice, 15 damage. Very good.
not bad. And that's all I'm gonna do.
All right, so you blast with these burning hands here. Very nice. Which brings us to the swarm by Mix here. They take another swing at trying to bite around at you here. These things are kind of like trying to crawl. They're crawling all over your feet, Mix. Not the best of sensations. Trying to bite at your ankles. Doing whatever they can do. Oh, and they still miss. You got some fancy footwork going on here, Mix. You're just dancing around these things.
See, you didn't need bless.
That's why I was telling him. He can protect himself just fine.
Yeah, maybe Zara will get off his shit list now.
Maybe. All right, this other swarm down here, they come up to you, Zara, and you are not a fan of this little seething mound of brain rats
Really
coming towards
not.
you. You're really not. And they come at you, biting at your ankles. And you two, also very disgusted by these things, manage to dance deftly out of the way. All right, Torda, you are currently stunned. I don't think there's a... Hold on. I think you're just stunned for a turn. When somebody's stunned, they just can't do anything, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but he does have to make a strength saving throw.
Oh yeah, he does. Okay, so go ahead and roll a strength saving throw because of the wind, Tordo. And we'll see how that goes. Alright, that definitely saves the wind. So even though you are stunned, kind of reeling from whatever this brain puppy was doing to you, you managed to hold fast there on the ground. This other swarm, back by Jinku here, again comes charging towards you. Like a bunch of them are kind of burned and dead, like their dead bodies are just kind of getting lost in this swarm here as they wriggle around each other. And it tries to bite at you, Jinku. And does manage to hit. Ooh, 15 damage as these little nasty rats sink their little teeth into you. Who knows what diseases they've got. You got little bites all over your feet from these guys. All right. The Intellect Devourer back here by you, Torda. Kind of... Oh, wait, it's got to roll a strength throw. Hold on. It's got to roll a strength save. I forgot about that. It's in the wind. It's a... What was it, a 16 to beat, right? Quick on your wind?
Yeah, I think that might be wrong. I'm double checking the spell save.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll now go 16.
Go 16, okay. Alright, so it does manage to hold its place in the wind and tries to strike at you with its claws on its front paws here, and the wind is still kind of catching it off balance a bit. Like, these are not very large creatures. And so as it kind of rears up to try to get at you with its claws here, the wind's kind of blows it off a little bit, and like it doesn't lose its spot, but it throws it kind of off kilter from its strike and doesn't manage to hit you. Zara, what are you doing? Rats at your feet.
I'm currently real not liking these rats. Hold on, I'm just unselecting everyone.
Probably a good idea.
I think I'm gonna cast Inflict Wounds on the rats.
Okay, go ahead. Nice, very nice. Okay, go ahead and roll the damage there for Inflict Wounds. Very nice. All right, so you cast this Inflict Wounds down on these rats, and this necrotic energy of this spell, kind of spills over this little swarm here, like opening all these wounds all over these little bodies.
No.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Zyra lifts her skirts, and with the heel of her boot, just like, BAM! Stomps down on this gross, nasty pile of rats and inflicts all of this necrotic damage, and all of these sores and pustules open up on these gross rats.
What is on your shoes?
Dang, necrotic stilettos. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
That's... Someone's into that.
I'm only here to serve.
All right, so that brings us to the Mind Flayer here, who whirls around to you. Oh wait, strength saving throw. Hold on. Okay, does manage to keep his spot. Whirls around.
Some bitch.
God damn it.
Whirls around to you, Tortum, and let's see here. Oop, not Boo. There we go. All right. So you feel like this Mind Flayer whirls around you, and you're like right up in this thing's face. It's not pleasant. It's not a pleasant place to be. And you see it kind of like put its hands around like either side of your head here, and you hear this strange like whispering in your mind here toward him. And you are now under his control. You have been dominated. So this will be interesting.
I don't think you know what that word means.
He was really into all the arms.
Oh my god.
Oh woo.
Oh woo. All right, Boo. It's like you see Neolor here, like turning around, putting his hands on either side of your friend here, and you kind of see, like, Torto, was just wailing on this thing, and had all his fancy arms out, and you see his arms like go like they're still there, but they don't seem like quite as at the punching ready as they were a moment ago. What are you doing?
Okay, so Boo will run forward, actually. Here. I think. And, he'll get, like, over here.
Okay.
He will...
Is that like wind wall, like a move with you? Like, is it like emanating from you?
Oh, I don't know. I can drop it if it doesn't. It says the range is self, and it says, like, it's I hold it for concentration. It doesn't say I can't move anywhere, and it says I can move it. Like, I can change the direction as a bonus action. I could just use my bonus action up to move it if you want. Or I could drop concentration. It's up to you if I move. It doesn't really say either way, so that's really your word.
I mean, I would say, like, if you keep like the concentration up, I would say it makes sense that, like, you're kind of like emanating this like wall of wind out of you here, and like if you're moving, you're kind of taking this wind with you. If you're concentrating on it, that makes sense to me.
So then, what I'll do is, then at an angle, kind of south towards the. So that I'm angling to get, I've got to do a cone. With my other hand, I'm gonna do burning hands.
Okay.
In a 15-foot cone.
Okay.
The goal is to, I think I can hit 2 of them. I don't think I can hit all 3 of them with a 15-foot cone. But I want to angle so I don't hit Torta. I want to cast this at 3rd level.
Ooh. All right.
Which would be. Oh yeah, adjusted damage. Target. Do you think that would make sense in a cone to get the number 1 and then Neil Whore? Or
Yeah, that seems fair.
Okay. I mean, I could kind of move a little bit if I need to too, but all right. I'm just kind of laughing as I have this gust of wind coming out of one hand and this gout of fire coming out of my other. I'm just like, no, I am the smartest one here. I'm saying that as I attempt to murder this thing. That'd be my turn then.
Okay. All right. So, this flame comes out of here, damaging Nihilor here, and you do manage to do enough damage with this 3rd level blast to take him out. Torta, you hear in your mind, so like you had just been dominated by Nihilor here, and even though he's fading away here at the moment, you hear the last command of him in your mind to kill them, and you are compelled to obey. So at least from what I am seeing here, I went and looked this up right now to see how this works. Dominate person still lasts the duration, and you follow the last command that you were given until it expires. So, Tord is the new boss now. This will be interesting. All right.
Out of everyone, why did it have to be Torta?
Right. the biggest DPS stealer of everyone.
Because the big dummy that it could have taken over didn't go anywhere near it.
All right. So Nihilor, is kind of fading into the ground here. He's burned. He's falling to the ground. Torta, you hear this whispering in your mind. This intellect devour. Which one's this one? This was the front one. Yeah. All right. So this intellect devourer, seeing its master going down here, bounds. Oh wait. Strength. You still got the wind up. That's right. I gotta do the strength.
Fuck yeah, I do.
All right. Strength save. Ooh, doesn't get it that time. How far back are they pushed?
15 feet.
15 feet. All right.
Yeah, and then I should get, because it's pushing him back. That's number one. I should get an attack of opportunity with my quarterstaff, right?
I believe you would, yes, since it is leaving your sphere of influence. So yeah, go ahead and take that. Ah, it misses. All right, so this thing like rears up, and it's starts to like jump at you, and the wind catches it, and pushes its form back here, and you're trying to smack it like out of the air like a baseball, and the wind takes it a little earlier than you timed, and whiff it. But he is pushed back 5, 10, 15, pushed back into the hallway a ways here from that wind. Mix.
Mix is gonna reach down and grab one of this rat swarm. He's gonna grab them by their tail and cast shocking grasp on them.
All right, I like it. Go ahead. Nice. Also very nice. All right, so you grab onto one of these rats in here and let this bolt of electricity go through your hand here, and this lightning kind of arcs throughout this entire little group. They writhe a little more energetically than they were a moment ago. As this energy courses through them, damaging them, you see a few more of them in the swarm kind of die. Some of them are starting to kind of fall out of the swarm as well onto the ground. Anything else?
No, that's all I can do.
All right, so Torta, currently you are dominated by the last command of your master and good friend, Nihilor, to destroy these invaders into his lair. I'm never quite sure how to do dominate person. I don't want to tell you what to do, so I'll let you. So I'll let you kind of control yourself as to what in Torta's mind he would do if he was compelled to
Kill his
kill
friends.
to kill his friends. So like if you were mind controlled and had this command given to you, act as you would.
Go after the first person. Closest
All right.
person.
Oh dear.
And you can see Torta's like crying upset right now.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. 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 Oh, I missed. Oh, ooh. Oh wait, that wasn't a miss. That was Boo going down. Oh dear. All right, so like,
Hold
Boo,
on.
like,
On that last one,
yeah.
like as he's hitting me with that last one.
Okay.
Like I'm trying to hold up the wind,
Uh-huh.
but I drop concentration on that and I use I probably lost that a while ago anyway. But I'll use my arcane deflection to oh never mind, that's a +4 to saving throw. Shit. No, I take that anyway. I go down. That's cool.
Okay. All right. So you all see Torta and like, so like Torta, you said you kind of described yourself as like kind of crying at this moment. So like, it sounds like inside you somewhere you're aware of what's going on and being compelled to do this. So I guess kind of like describe like how things are looking on your face right now with this situation here.
You've seen people that are like enraged to the point that they're crying.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's him. That's him. But the tears are because he doesn't want to hit against his friend, and the rage is because of the domination.
Okay. Cool. That's a good description. I like that. Very good. All right, Boo. So as Torta's raining these blows down in here, I want you to roll a perception check for me here.
Dude, it's not letting me roll one. Shit. There we go. I'm not that great at perceptioning, buddy.
You're also getting your face pounded.
Yeah, it's a little hard. It's a little hard to perceive under a rain of weird ghosts' fists going on. But like as you're kind of falling onto the ground here, like you see, or you can kind of hear in the distance what sound like some shouts from the north. Pretty like somewhat faint, like it's hard to make out amongst all the thumping of fists on you here. But you feel like you hear someone shout, there's fighting in here in the distance as you kind of black out here. Which brings us to Alright, which brings us to this swarm back here by... Wait, no, this is three. The swarm back here by Jinku. It again takes another bite at you here. Ooh. Oh wait, why is it attacking Boo? Hold on.
Because I'm the greatest.
Yeah, let's not damage Boo more.
Yeah, okay, that's not supposed to attack Boo. It did hit Jinku though. So let me roll that.
Hi, Coco.
Alright, so again, these little rats are swarming around you here, doing a bit more damage to you. Jinku, Boo, go ahead and roll a saving throw for me here.
What kind do you want? Say intelligent.
It's just your death save.
Oh, damn.
You can hear Torta saying, "Please stay down."
Okay, first one's a success. All right, Zara. You see Torta turn around, beat and boo into the ground. You got these rats around your feet here. You're the next closest one after Boo.
Fuck.
What are you doing?
Probably going to try and get to Jinku.
Okay.
Because just so, like, the rest of the party can be together?
Okay. Are you doing like an attack first and then moving, or just moving?
Oh, I guess I can attack first. I'm gonna use Sacred Flame on the rats.
Sure. Fire away. All right, they fail that save. Go ahead and roll that damage. Nice. All right. So last time you were stomping these things into the ground here, you just another Sacred Flame down on these things, and you see this swarm finally stop writhing as this flame kind of cascades over it here, and they are gone. And so you move. You said you're moving over towards Jinku then?
Yes.
Cool.
Which I think I can get here.
Yeah.
I think that's as far as I can go.
Okay.
With my movement.
All right. So the Intellect Devourer here back behind Torta. You see it, now that this wind gust is down, it's kind of shaking itself off now that this wind is gone. And it moves up into the room here, in the direction of the rest of you.
Oh, stop.
Jinku. Zara's coming over to your aid here. You still got these rats down here at your feet.
Yeah, I'm gonna do another burning hands on them.
All right. Burning hands away.
Go, stop.
All right, very nice. All right, so these burning hands, you're still somewhat on practice, so it's maybe not the cleanest looking of flames coming out of your hands here, but it still does work. You do quite a bit more damage to this swarm of rats. They're not looking too good. Most of them are dead, but they're still down there rather than being gross. So in the Zara, Jinku mix, three of you roll a perception check for me here. Okay. So Zara and Mix, both of you hear more of these like shouts coming from somewhere out in the hallway. You hear some shouts, people commenting on a fight. You hear kind of footsteps running, and you hear one of them shout, "They've taken him down, but they're still here." And you see coming around the corner here behind Torta is a pretty normal looking guard. The livery that he has on his clothing seems somewhat familiar to you. You've seen before. Mix, Zara, you looking at what he's wearing, like the patterns on his clothing, you recognize this as a guard of the Castellanter family who you guys had done work for before in the past. The one who had the kids being stalked by demonic worshippers a while ago. He runs in here. He's like comes up behind Torta. He sees that Boo's down. He sees Neolor's down, and he says, and he kind of shouts to all of you, "Hold! Hold! We're here to help." Mix.
I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just hanging out of these rats' tails. I'm gonna keep shocking the crap out of them until they're dead.
All right, shock away. Very nice. Very nice. All right, so again, like your hand's still kind of plunged into this mass of rats, and you let out this shock again. More of them drop off the swarm. It's not looking so hot now, guys. Both cats, get off, please.
Oh, and Zyara, check your cantrips because your Sacred Flame should have been 2 die 8 since you're at level 5. I have the same spell.
Oh, that's true. Yes, you may want to adjust. I'll take a look at that, and we'll adjust that after. But if you do Sacred Flame again, we'll make sure that 2d8s get cast.
Oh, sorry, I just...
Yeah, like since a lot of the cantrips like level up as you level up, they get more damage, and that's one of them that does. So, we'll make sure that gets fixed. I didn't think to check that before. All right, so Mix, you're still shocking these rats back here, and there's another of these guards you see come running up around the corner here. And he has he has a spear, and he has his held out, and he seems to be pointing it in the direction of this other intellect devourer that's still in the hallway here, trying to keep it at bay. The swarm back here by you, Mix, tries to. All right, so you've been shocking this group of rats here, and as they're kind of writhing around your hand, you feel this kind of fog come over your mind, and you feel confused from some sort of encroachment of these cranium rats on you. Let's see, this does. Alright, so it looks like we're going to have to roll a d10 at the start of your turns to see what confused action you do. If I remember right, it's like either you don't take any actions or you like move or something like that. You're kind of dazed by this. Alright, so coming up the hallway here, you don't see them. They're still behind this kind of cave wall here. But you hear a somewhat familiar voice kind of call out and be like, the adventurers from the tavern. I must say I didn't expect to see them here. Quick, hurry, we must assist. I owe them my family's life. Intellect Devourer here in the hallway bounds towards one of these guards here, tries to claw at one of the guards, does manage to hit, kind of digging the claws into the legs of this one guard. Which brings us to the top of the next round. Boo! Death save number 2.
I got the popcorn for my death.
Nice.
Rocking that 22 though. Oh, 19 almost got up.
Nice. Very nice. 2 saves. Looking good. Torta. So you just rained your blows down on Boo, and you suddenly have this group of 3 people show up from the hall behind you here. that you don't immediately recognize in your kind of controlled rage right now. What are you doing?
That's a good question because I don't know if the dominate would impact new people because it
I-
just says kill them.
I think the command was to kill your friends. So I don't
Huh?
think you would.
It was kill them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything said about the group itself.
But when they said them, we were the only ones in the room.
Yeah.
That's where I'm questioning.
Yeah. So I
A
think you could
D4?
I think you could make a case for you wouldn't attack the new people.
Yeah. I mean, you could make a case for either, I guess.
I was
So
going to say a D4, 1, 2, go after the group. 3,
That's
4,
what I was just
attack the
about to
guards.
say. Yeah, let's do that. I'll roll. Go ahead and, well, here, I'll let you roll the d4, Torto, since this is your mind.
I'll let you decide who dies.
Okay, so I can't remember
1,
which
2
one
was
you
the
said.
friends, 3, 4 is the guards.
3, 4 is the guards. Okay, so 4, you roll, like, you turn, you see these guards behind you. You know, you kind of turn to your left, and you know these 2 guards with spears are standing here. You know, one of them's just been kind of trying to fight off this intellect devourer on the ground. And do what you do.
Yep. Get to attack the first guard.
F shit. Get your shit together, guys.
Damn.
You get all your shit together.
All right. Since he killed him with the first punch, he's going to go to the next guy.
Damn. These are not beefy guards.
Oh god, please don't kill another noble.
So
I'm not going to move. I mean, I already started attacking. So.
yeah. So you start raining down these blows, and like both of these guards, like without like much difficulty at all, you take both of these out, and you can see like standing behind them here. I don't think Torta wasn't with us the last time. Or the
Yeah,
last time
he
you did
wasn't
work for
with us when we. Yeah.
the castle enters. Okay, so you don't recognize this person, and this person doesn't seem to quite recognize you either. Like they're kind of looking at you confusedly. Like they recognize the other members of the party and seem to have been called out to them. But you know you've just taken out both of his guards here, and he doesn't look too particularly happy about that. This other intellect devourer here, you know, continues moving into the room in the direction of the rest of the party in the back. The swarm of cranium rats on the ground next to Jinku here tries to continue biting at your tasty Loxodon feet, and unfortunately miss.
Oh, thank God, because I'm not doing well.
The other swarm of cranium rats, which also aren't looking too great, they try taking some more bites out of Mix here, and they also miss.
Oh, no.
Oops. The intellect devourer in the back here runs up towards Victoro here and tries to claw at him. Managing to hit and doing a bit of damage to him. So, Zara, you're back here with the rest of the crew. You saw Torta, you know, punch out these guards here, and you see Victoro standing back there. Torta, you know, kind of looking in his direction. What are you doing?
I guess I'm gonna yell towards Victoro and just be like, please, you need to leave before you die too.
There's only death in this place.
Abandon hope while you enter here.
Jinku really isn't looking that great.
She is not.
That was kind of rude.
Health-wise, not looks-wise.
Well, thank God you clarified.
Gosh, Moog.
You got blood everywhere, but dang, you're cute. You're just looking great.
I'm gonna go up to Jinku and do Cure Wounds. Wow. That wasn't great. Okay.
It's something.
Better than nothing.
Yeah, I guess that's all I can do right now.
All right, Mix. You are currently confused for a turn. Let me find. What's the confusion table? An 8. Okay, let me see what an 8 is. All right. Let's see. So it looks like you use your action to make a melee attack against a determined creature, a randomly determined creature within your reach, and the only thing within your reach happens to be these rats. So even though you are confused, you still attack them, smacking at them with whatever melee smacking that you have. Mix. So go ahead and roll that on those rats. And they hit! The hand axe strikes true. Is it enough?
This is like my weakest thing.
It is. Alright, so your confusion expires. You kind of shake off this confusion and find your axe kind of, buried in these rats. Thankfully, instead of somebody else. And they aren't looking too great at this point with that. Jinku. Got a little bit of healing coming off Zayara. Victorio's over there in the distance by Torta. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna smack these rats with my flail. That'll teach them to bite my toes.
Smack them. Looks like you weren't targeting them. I'll let you re-roll that.
Can't you
Okay.
just drag it onto him? Well,
Yeah, I can, but I'll let it re-roll. Why not? Looks like neither one would have hit anyways. Alright. So, you swing your flail down at this mass of rats on the ground, or what's left of them at least, and unfortunately, they managed to kind of wriggle out of the way here. So Victoro, he, hears you shouting at him, Zayara, and he's seen Torta here taking out these other guards of his, but he does while he hasn't met Torta specifically, he does like he has seen Torta, like he has come around to the bar a few times. He hasn't talked to you guys while he was there, but he has been there and has seen Torta before, and knows that he is with you all. And you see him, like, he has this pretty ornate staff with him that's pretty fancifully carved. And you see him kind of raise this staff in Torta's direction and smack it down on the floor. And let's see here. There we go. Oops. I did not roll that right. Why is this not rolling properly? All right. So he taps this, he brings this staff down on the ground, and you kind of feel this, force trying to press this command out of your mind from this mind flayer. And it doesn't seem to quite take it. And he's kind of staring at you intently while he's doing this, seeming trying to like focus as much energy into you as possible here. And he kind of sees this conflict kind of flashing over your face here, Torta, as he tries to get rid of this off of you. And seeing this not quite take all the way, he raises his staff again and tries smacking it on the ground once more. All right. And once again, Torta, you still, are still kind of, you have like 3 competing forces in your mind right now, and it's getting pretty intense in there. Like you've got yourself, you've got this command from this mind flayer, you've got this stuff Victoro's trying to do to you here, and you just can't quite shake this all off. Which brings us back around to Zyra at the top.
God damn it, Torta, stop making such good rolls. I guess I'm gonna go attack this intellect devourer.
Okay.
I'll do, let's see, this is number 1. I'm gonna do my Sacred Flame again.
Okay. All right, and go ahead and roll, and we'll make sure to add another D8 on.
I fixed it.
You fixed it? Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, Quick told me how.
Nice. Thanks, Quick. All right, so you roll the Sacred Flame, and this does manage to come down with enough damage on this Intellect Devourer, casting it off from existence. Very nice. All right, anything else, Sarah?
No, I don't think I can. So that should be it.
Okay. Boo. Give us another death save. Ooh, 1 failure. Alright. Torta. Things are getting messy in your head.
They are very messy.
So I guess, like you still got this dominate person from this mind flayer there, but you've had some other forces trying to push around as well. So I'm gonna kind of leave it up to you at this particular instance, what you feel Torta would do, having like 2 conflicting dominates trying to fight for your head right now.
He's paralyzed. I mean,
He spins madly in place.
yeah, he's like, what do I do? What do I do? Like, who do I attack? What do I do? Kill him, kill him. Like,
Yeah,
he doesn't know where to go.
Yeah, so you just have this overwhelming like urge to punch something. You have all this punching that needs to happen, but you just can't seem to focus on like what it is that this like internal conflict. Very cool. All right, Mix. You're not confused anymore.
I'm going to target rats 3 around Junku.
Okay.
Oh, I hope this works. Oh, damn.
Let's see. Is that end? Does that have like any half thing on save?
No, I was trying to yank the rats away from Junku so she could go help Victoria.
Ah, okay, I see. Okay. All right, so like, yeah, like you're trying to get in there and like and yank these rats away, but it's kind of hard to get a good like grasp on it, being like a writhing pile of things. There's not really any solid thing to like hold on to hold all of them, so it's a little difficult to get a grip on that. Anything else?
Oh, man. Wait, I think I have something I use as a bonus here.
Okay, cool, cool.
I really want these rats to come after me. And everything I have is 1 action.
Ah, dang. All right.
So as a bonus,
Sure.
can I it's taunt these rats somehow?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's
Like-
there's enough like probably loose debris around. I'd say you could probably try like.
Oh
chucking
no, I
some.
mean like throw a piece of food in between me and Junku.
Oh,
or
yeah,
some
yeah,
munch on.
yeah. Sure, you could try doing that.
So I'm gonna do that, and I'll let you decide what they need to roll, whether they want to go for the food and come
Okay.
towards me. Junku, if they
Uh,
come towards me, go help Victoro.
let's see. What should we have them do? Maybe we'll do like maybe like an intelligence save or something. Or yeah, now maybe a wisdom. Whether to fight or whether to feed. Sure. Well, that would have failed whatever sort of limit I would have set on that anyways. So they do manage to be enticed by whatever it is that you chucked on the ground. And their attention seems to be distracted a little bit from Jinku here with that move. Jinku.
Alright, well, they're distracted going elsewhere. I will try to get over to help Victoro, but all I can really do right now is dash to get over by them.
Alright, dash away. Nice. Alright. Alright, so that brings us to, let's see, the other Intellect Devourer that's still here, trying to continue attacking here at Victoro, and misses. Victoro seems to kind of deftly bop its claws away with the end of his large staff here. The swarm of rats up by you, Mix, they again try to bite at you and still manage to miss what's left of them here. The other swarm of cranium rats, 3, they kind of move up to this food that you threw on the ground. They seem to be distracted. What's left of them, they kind of swarm over this, ration or whatever it was you threw there, consuming it rapidly. All right, Victoro here. He again, he's bopped away this Intellect Devourer that's trying to get at his feet here. And he again turns towards you, is it not? Okay. And he tries to, how does this work? Let's see. trying to see how I would roll this on this guy's character sheet. 1 second here. Let's see. He would be a... Okay. Alright, well I guess we'll roll this and we'll see what we get. Ooh. Very nice. You're a lucky person, Torta. Alright, so he again taps his staff on the ground here at you, Torta, trying to kind of overcome this magic. And he successfully casts Dispel on this dominate person that was left in your mind, and you feel your mind clear, like you're still here, kind of like freaking out, spinning around, and doing cool tricks, and your mind clears, and you find yourself standing here. Boo's on the ground, he's down. Neolor's on the ground. Some of these other things are on the ground. These guards who, like, you almost don't even have a memory of even interacting with, and they're dead, and clearly dead from being punched to death. And your mind clears. Which brings us to top of the next round. These rats back by Mix. They try to... Wait, they can only do that once per day, so they can't do that one again. So they just try to bite again. And they still miss. And Torta, your mind is clear, and you're standing in the aftermath of... Well, you can't quite remember exactly, clearly. It's a bit of a haze. What do you do?
He's gonna nod towards Victorio and step up to this intellect devourer.
Okay.
We're gonna pound it to death.
Ooh, alright. Hit 1. Hit 2. Yes! Alright. Hit 3. Nice. Alright, so you've shaken off this dominate. You come over here wailing or raining these blows onto this intellect devourer down on the ground. Maybe a stomp in there too. And he is gone. Alright, anything else, Torta?
Nope, that's it.
Alright. Mix. You're back here in the corner with some rats and some distracted rats.
If I get an attack of opportunity for this, I'll let them take it. But I'm going to move to where they're both 10 feet from me.
Okay.
And I actually move closer to my attacking rats to accomplish this.
Okay.
And I am going to thunder step and obliterate these frickin' rats.
Nice, alright. Nice. Well, they succeed, but I don't think that's going to help them very much. Alright. And with that, is that hitting both of them? I think it only just rolled on the one. Let me see.
It should be 10 damage on both.
10 damage on... Oh, okay, it did. Okay, the other ones weren't quite as damaged. They're not looking good. There's only a few rats left in that other swarm from that. And where do you thunderstep to?
I'm going to bounce over to Boo and land like where I'm kneeling, touching him.
Okay.
And then look at Zyar and say, "Get behind me."
Okay. Oh, and I guess whatever
That's
you're
all I
doing, that
can
would be...
do.
I was going to say, I guess whatever you're doing, that would be next turn. Okay, cool. All right. So this other swarm of rats here, you know, they've consumed this distraction food, and taking quite a blast of damage from this thunderstep as Mix moves away, and they find themselves kind of alone here in this corner, and the closest thing being Sayara here, who they come skittering towards. What's left of them here. And completely whiff that attack. Alright. So Victoro, like he, Torta, you're out of your confusion here. He sees Boo on the ground. He kind of looks around at all of you here. He says, "What are all of you doing here? I didn't expect to find you this deep underwater deep. On another job, perhaps? Goodness, I'm glad I found you in time. Seems things were a little dire."
I'm glad you found us too.
Yes, we weren't entirely sure what we were going to do if Torta had continued to be influenced.
Yes, he
I was
certainly.
going to shoot him with a dro dart.
He can't be poisoned, homie.
Ah, that's true. He's a grung. That would have been an unfortunate situation right there. If that had happened and we found that out at that point. Yeah, so I mean, he kind of looks at you, Torta, and he looks over at his dead guards here on the floor, and he says, "Well, I can't be mad at you for that. That wasn't your own doing."
Wait, I did that?
Well, it's...
You also did Boo.
He just
Don't
sits
worry about
down.
your guards. I'll help them. Just give me a second.
Torta just sits down and starts like uncontrollably babbling to himself because he's upset.
Okay. Alright, Zara, you've got this last little remnant of rats here around your feet.
Well, I was gonna go do Spare the Dying on Boo, but I guess I'll take care of the rats. So I'll just do Sacred Flame at this point, because they're pretty close to dying.
Yeah.
Oh. They succeeded.
They succeeded.
God damn you rats.
Sneaky little buggers.
I'm still gonna move, though.
Okay.
Since Mix wanted me to move behind him.
And they try to bite at you as you go, and they miss.
Neener, neener, neener.
Alright. Boo. Another save. See if we get your last success or another fail. Success! Alright, Boo. You are back with one hit point. Lying on the ground here. And you see your... what the heck? Go away, Windows Defender. Bad time to appear. So yeah, so you find yourself lying on the ground here. You kind of look to your side. You see the Mind Flayer on the ground as well. And, surprisingly, the face of Victorio Castellanter, who you had done some work for in the past, who seems to be kind of moving towards you here. What are you doing, Boo? You're barely here.
I pull out my little dragon stylized pipe and take a puff on it. And then I'll use magic missile to shoot. Do I have an action that I can use? I don't know if the roll took my action or.
We'll say you do. This sounds amusing.
And then I'll use my magic missile to shoot the rats.
Yeah. All right, fire it. Boom. All right, so Boo's lying on the ground. He's got a pipe in one hand, doing a little puff here for the mental fortitude. and Zara, Mix, you kind of see this little magic missile dart kind of zip between you guys, like pretty much right along the floor. Like Boo's still just like prone down here, and it just zips across the room right into the last of these cranium rats here, taking them out. And you all are out of combat.
As soon as we're out of combat, I'm gonna use my healing light and heal Boo for 6 die 6.
Nice.
And then I'm gonna get up and walk over to the guards, and I know Zyara is coming over to the other one, so I'll pick one of the guards and kneel down and cast Spare the Dying and let her do the rest. Because
Okay.
using that healing light takes it out of me.
Okay.
I could
Zara,
sure use some help.
are you doing Spare the Dying on the other guard, or what are you doing?
Yeah, if I'm assuming that Mix already shared the plan to do that, so I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay.
And then I'll go and heal Jinku afterwards.
Okay. Let's go ahead and roll the healing on Jinku. These two guards, like they're not looking too great, but at least they're alive. You kind of see kind of a grateful look in Victorio's eyes. Bringing his guards back here. He didn't have to do that, but he's appreciative of the consideration.
Oh, I can heal up to 6 creatures with this one.
Oh, all right. Well, feel free to target whoever, probably everybody.
Well, definitely Boo and Jinku. I don't. Well, yeah.
I think I'm fine. Put 2 of them on the guards, I guess.
Oh, here, let me put the guards back in. I deleted their tokens. Whoopsies.
Thank you, Mix, for healing me from death.
I may be mad at you right now, but you did raise me.
I hope someday to murder you in fair combat. You know that, right?
Well, I figured if anybody's going to kill you, it's going to be me.
All right, there's those guards for you.
I'm technically taking you both out now, and he starts going back to babbling and crying.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Torta, do you need healing? I have 1 slot left.
He like buries his head in the ground. No, I'm okay.
We gonna heal him. Zyar heals everyone and then goes over to Torta and puts her hand on his shoulder.
All right. So I think
And-
at this, oh, go ahead.
And
Jinku, say what you're
Jinku
gonna say.
offers him some pocket peanuts to make him feel better.
Pocket
Very
peanuts
nice.
make everything better.
Very nice.
They're kind of linty.
Hold on a second.
but-
Did you actually touched his skin?
I assume you're wearing armor.
He doesn't wear like
He's a
jack.
monk.
No,
Nope.
he's drunk.
Oh, I was going off of your picture. I thought you had like some sort of like a top on.
No, that's actually his skin color is the gold and
Oh.
red like that.
I didn't know that.
You might be about to get real hungry here.
Does
DC
that work
15 for hungry.
Does that work if Zyara is wearing gloves though?
Oh, good call.
That is
I
a good
don't
call.
know.
Zara does usually wear gloves.
Yeah,
Probably
he might
not.
be safe. I don't know.
She does wear gloves. She said that a couple times.
Yeah. Well, Zara, I think you lucked out this time, forgetting about the no touchies, the froggo.
Well, not after combat, especially because normally, like around Troll Skull, he doesn't have that activated.
True. Good point.
I don't need some kids to give me a hug and then go destroy the kitchen.
Right. Good point. All right. Well, this is a good spot to take our halfway break here. So get up, stretch yourself, clear your heads of mind flayer bullshit. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so, so 9:54, and we'll see you then. ask for some quick assistance here. I'm here on a bit of a urgent errand of my own. You may recall my family butler, Willifort. I believe you interacted with when you came to my house some time ago. Um, he had been captured by the Mind Flayer down here, and we had managed to get enough information to find out where his lair was located, and, well, it seems that we crossed our paths at an opportune time. But come, I believe my butler is a little further in. And he...
Noble sir, kind of let us lead the way. We don't need another noble dying around or associated with us in any way.
he kind of chuckles wryly at that and says, "Well, yes, we wouldn't want to add a little more to the infamy from that situation, would we? Well, lead on. I can take care of myself, I believe, but I appreciate the gesture, of course." And he kind of motions to his guards to follow you. And you all start heading down the hall. So as you guys are kind of going along this way, you can see the hallway gets a little more kind of finished as you're moving to the south. It's less cavern wall and more of like a, actual in-place stone wall. And as you kind of come out of this hallway to the south, like you kind of find yourself in kind of a larger open room. It kind of extends over to beyond your well, to the right as you guys are coming out of here. Let me get the mask uncovered here for you. 1 second.
Nix does not like this place, so he's gonna prepare an Eldritch Blast if anything pops out and goes blue. He's hitting it.
Right. So directly in front of you here, you can see that there's this kind of fencing of sorts. These bars that are extending across the length of this room. And inside, beyond these bars, is a fairly large chamber. And in here, you see quite a number of people. Many of them seem to be kind of out of it on the ground. Others are kind of, leaning up, sitting against the walls. Some of them look to be, you're kind of looking amongst the crowd here, and like, one or two of them you recognize to be some of like the recent combatants from the fight club that you defeated. And like Mix, you remember like seeing some of them, in that little room that you were in when you woke up from being, basically dead. You remember seeing some of them there, and now they're here, and they still look a bit out of it. But there seem to be quite a large number of people kind of imprisoned down here for some sort of purpose. And, I mean, at least from what you all know, for the reason you came down here in the first place, with this Mind Flayer, using people or like getting people in positions in like the city government or with high connections, things like that. And trying to get them under his control. It seems that many of these people were kind of being used for that purpose, or being prepared to be used for that purpose. And you do kind of spy among the group here, Willifort, Crowell, the Castellanter's butler, this kind of thin, kind of wiry older gentleman that had brought you to the Castellanter residence for the first time a few months ago. But he's currently kind of leaning up against, or kind of sitting cross-legged, amongst the people in here. He seems a little dazed, like he doesn't like really notice you where he's at, and you don't readily see any like door from your location. Like this fence is all just kind of solid iron bars all the way across. There's not a gate on this side. But you do see like the way there's kind of an extension of the room off to the east here, and some stairs as well. And you see Victorio kind of come up behind you. He kind of peers through the bars there and kind of points out Williford and says, "Yes! It looks like Williford is here. Come, let us find a way in."
Oh, I guess we're looking to the east. And I'm telling you, Mix is having an Eldritch Blast prepared
Cool.
this whole time.
Okay.
Is there a doorway in?
Not on this side. Like you see, like this side is all basically just bars. It seems there's like the way in seems to be perhaps on like the farther side of the place.
I'm with
Sword
Mix. I
is
don't trust this place.
Sword still has his arms going, and he's a little pissed off at himself. He's gonna tell everybody move back from the bars and start pounding on them.
I like it. All right. Let's see. I guess go ahead and roll like a do like a strength check, and we'll see how that goes, and we'll see if your railing on these bars is nice. Nice. All right. So, Torda, you come up here. You got your fists out, and you kind of start raining blows on these iron bars. Some of the people that are inside who are a little less dazed, of course they hear the commotion. You guys are talking, and now you're banging on the bars. Some of the ones that were right nearby are kind of backing up a little bit. Willifort kind of sees you all there. He doesn't recognize you, Torda. He hasn't seen you before. But he sees, Jinku and Zara and the others kind of standing in the background, and Victoro as well. And you see, um, kind of a hopeful smile across his face here, and you do manage to kind of bend these bars back enough of a ways that everybody's able to easily pass through with the space that you've made. As you kind of step back from pounding open the bars here toward a couple of the people closest to the bars, they kind of start, kind of making their way out into this more open area. Thanking you, thanking the others of you, looking at you gratefully. Um, what are you all doing now that this is open?
I'm
Like,
in awe. I'm like, holy shit, Torda. Wow.
He can't even look at Boo right now. He's like
I'm gonna
looking away, like no, not even gonna talk to him.
keep looking around. I assume this is a hallway right in front of me.
To below you there?
Yeah.
Below you.
Or a door.
Here, let me uncover that. Below you here seems to be kind of a small room. There's some sort of altar of sorts on a table at the back. Some other kind of urns and things around. Most of it's pretty dusty. It doesn't look like this place was maybe especially built by Galore. It could be older. Some sort of ruins that were down here, but it doesn't seem like this was particularly in recent use.
Do I recognize um anything about the altar in terms of a deity or demon or whatever the altar's been made to?
From what? Go ahead and roll do a religion check for me. Okay. So kind of looking over this, it seems like, and the altar in here at the back of the room, it's still mostly there, but it seems pretty worn by time and whatever else. But it seems to be dwarven related.
Okay.
Your guess is that perhaps it was to the dwarven god Moradin. who's kind of their kind of lawful good type dwarven god. So perhaps like these structures down here are originally some sort of ancient dwarven construction from some point.
Okay. By the way, you might want to take the bless effect off of people because I assume it's been longer than 1 minute.
Yes, it has been. Let me fix that here.
I'll use message to tell Boo, or not Boo.
To tell yourself.
You don't even know. Holy shit. Torta. I'll tell Torta, you have a lot of power. I think if we work together, we could both live forever.
Now he's like super pissed that people were talking in his head again. And he's just like going crazy looking around for people. You can hear him shouting like, "Get out of my fucking head! Get out! Get out! Not this again!"
Zara, like you see Torta kind of freaking out about this. Like, what are the other three of you kind of reacting to Torta freaking out about stuff in his head?
I mean, lots of weird shit happens in this group. I'm not perturbed by it.
He instantly starts looking at the stone and he like kind of just tosses it on the ground because he's tired of these things being in his head.
Okay. So while this is like this is going on here, Victoro, he's moved inside the kind of little compound they had going on in here, and you can see him kind of and he's kind of directing his guards as well, telling them like, go, let's direct these people out of here. Let's get them back to the surface. And he comes over to Willifort and kind of holds him on the shoulder and says, "My friend, I hope you are well enough to stand and come with us. I pray they didn't do too much harm to you." And Willifort kind of looks up at Victoro and says, "Yes, sir. They thankfully I'm still in one piece, mind included. I can't say for some of the others that they've taken since the time I've been down here, but thankfully they hadn't got around to me yet. I'm grateful that you thought of me." And Victoro, kind of looks down at Willifort here and says, "My dear friend, you have served my family for so many years. I would never leave you to a fate such as this." And kind of picks up, kind of helps Willifort to his feet here, and they start coming back out of the bars here together, along with a bunch of these other, kind of random Waterdeep citizens and people that have been captured down here.
As they're coming out, I am like, to being like, thank you. We got you. We got you guys. Everything will be okay. Don't forget to take a look at our tavern up here. If you mention this, we'll give you like 1 copper off. And,
Nice.
Like, I'm just trying to drum up some more money here.
The businessman.
Wizarding is expensive as shit. So I'm telling all these people to like check us out because I'm telling them who we are because I want them to know who we are.
Just gotta spread that reputation around. So like these people kind of continue, heading out to the north, like the other guards that Victoria had brought with him are kind of up that way, kind of leading them that way out. You can kind of see them, gathering up towards the north end of the cave. It sounds like you're, probably going to head out, hopefully together here, just to make sure everybody's butts are covered. But as like the last few people that are in here are kind of filing past you all, Victorio kind of looks all over at the rest of you all and says, "I believe I owe you all a bit more of an explanation as to all the goings on around here. I'd like to, if you would, um, once we all get out of this and back up to the surface, I'd like to cordially invite you to my villa once again for dinner, of course. Um, I have some matters I think we should discuss that may be of interest to you."
Yes, I wouldn't mind some answers to all of the questions recent events have brought up.
Things got a little crazy down here.
Yes, it certainly is. Down here and, well, in the city as a whole, as I'm sure you've seen since you arrived. Well, let's not speak too much of this down here. You can never really tell who all or what all might be listening in a place like this. We best make haste and get out of this place.
Next is gonna like go up to the front of agree with him. Like, yes, let's get out of here and we'll go to your villa. But he's gonna walk at the front of the group this whole time, having that spell prepared because he does not like this place.
All right. So you do all manage to, you make your way back out of this kind of structure down here, and back into the caves, and then eventually the sewer tunnels. Excuse me, that you had been coming through. Excuse me, before, and eventually do find your way back up to the surface. You come out at a different location than you'd initially come in. Like once you kind of get into the more active sewers, the direction that Castle Lantern and its guards take is a bit of a different route than the one that you all had come through. And you eventually pop out kind of in a back alley in the North Ward. And these people begin to file out, and Victorio kind of heads over to a city guard nearby. He kind of goes out into the street. There's some shops nearby, some guards patrolling around on their usual rounds, and kind of goes over and starts to explain to them all these people that have suddenly appeared. Um, Telling them that they've just rescued this. They found these groups of people that have been captured down in the sewers, and he kind of relays some kind of basic directions to these guards to go and check it out. Make sure there's nothing else going on down there. And he kind of nods at you all and says, "Well, I will send for you this evening for dinner, but please go rest up. I'm certain you need a bit of a respite after what I saw you all going through down there. And we'll see you tonight."
All right then, boss. Take a couple more puffs of my pipe.
Yeah, Sayara is more than happy to go back to the manor. She's really needing a shower after dealing with those rats.
Understandable.
Next is thinking that he needs to go and buy some new clothes again.
Okay. All right. So, back on the surface of Waterdeep, you all kind of make your way back to your part of town here. Perhaps doing a few small errands along the way. Are you just like getting some more kind of general clothing for yourself there, Mix? Or was there something like specific you were looking for, or what?
Oh no, he has to have the fanciest guard possible.
Okay,
He's
just looking
a
for
bit
some
arrogant about this. Yeah, I mean,
nice Nice looking, noble tier of clothes going on. Okay. All right.
Well, not noble tier. He likes to look like the warlock he is.
Okay. So some like fine, mage adjacent warlock type robes. Yeah, there's certainly plenty of clothiers around that carry these types of garb. For what you're looking for, you're able to find kind of a small shop, maybe a few blocks away from Troll Skull on your way back as you guys are kind of heading in. You kind of veer off from the group a moment as you kind of see a shop over nearby. All in all, it comes to maybe 10 silver or so for a nice set of robes.
How many silver and a gold piece?
Crap. Is it 10?
I think so.
Alright, hold on. Silver to a gold, 5e. Yes, okay, so yeah, 10's one gold piece.
That's what I thought. I was just getting a little confused there. So yeah, he throws a gold piece on the counter, and after he takes a bath, he's gonna change.
I'll
Cool.
get clashing color robe with him.
Alright.
I'll buy a color that's clashing to that one.
Alright.
See, I think Zyara would agree that a new outfit sounds good. Hers is probably getting a little gross with all of the underground adventures they keep going on.
Jinku just says laundry.
But hers is just going to be black because you don't need colors.
So I guess in that case, Mix, like if you're going off kind of a main color base for what you're going, like what color would you say that you go for?
Oh, he always buys. It always varies, but he kind of gets those reddish garb that's in. At least I think it's reddish garb that's in his picture. That same
Oh.
kind of stuff.
Okay.
But he always varies it a little. Like with this, I would assume it would have like some silver trim and look really fancy.
Okay. Hold on, let me see what. Let's see what clashes with red.
I don't ask me.
Oh, I'm looking. Well, it looks like
Pink.
green clashes with red, even though they go together for Christmas. They don't really look good together.
Lime green really doesn't go with red.
Orange and red don't really go together either. Yeah.
I'll go lime green. I'm down with lime green robes.
Lime green robes. All right. Really.
We'll never in a crowd.
True. Gonna be hard to not see him there. All right. So you do manage to get back home. You got your new clothes. You wash up. You rest up. You're feeling a little better here. Let's see. Oops. Let's do a rest. Here we go. All right. So you do manage to kind of rest up throughout the rest of the day here. Let me take out the guards and things from the turn tracker here. All right. So the evening comes, and eventually you hear a knock at the kind of residence door of Troll Skull. Who's going down, checking out the door?
I'll check the door.
Okay. All right, so Zara, you head down to the door and you open it to see Willifort standing there. Also, seemingly has washed up and gotten into a cleaner pair of clothes. And you kind of see behind him there in the street the somewhat familiar cart that he's driven you in before, and mentions to you all, well, the Master Castellanter is waiting. I'm here to take you all over to the villa if you're ready. I hope.
Yeah, I think we're all ready.
Wonderful. And he kind of steps back from the door and kind of heads back over to the cart to kind of take the reins and wait for you all to get in. So I assume you all pile on in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds legit.
All right. So you all pile in and are taken over to the Castellanter Villa, which you've been to before, except for Torta. You've never been there before. This is before your time. Let's see. Let me get the villa up here. Why is this so dark? Hold on.
Well,
Let me see if I can find a better map. Oh, that's terrible. Let's see. God, these are all so dark. Well, I guess we'll go with this one, even though it's not the prettiest looking one, but at least it's not really, really dark. The other ones are all very dark for some reason. I'm not sure why. So, you pull up, and he pulls the cart in through the gate and into kind of the pathway on the grounds, and up towards the front door. And as he pulls up here, you see the front door open, and Victoro and crap, what was his wife's name? I wrote this down somewhere. It's been a while since we've seen her. Amalia. That's right. Victorio and Amalia are there waiting in the door. Victorio's. Last time you saw him, he was kind of more in a fighting garb. He had like a chest plate on, things like that. But he's back in kind of his noble finery that you had seen him in before. And he kind of smiles broadly as you all pull up here in the cart, and kind of opens his arms wide and says, "Welcome, welcome, you all. It's good to have you back here, all in one piece, thankfully. Come in. The table is set. Let's eat."
yeah, I'm kind of hungry. Let's eat. Hopefully nobody will die this time. I didn't like dying. That wasn't fun, and I don't plan on doing that again.
All right.
What'd you guys make us for dinner?
So you all, get into the dining room area in here, and as you're set down at the table, like it's got all the fine stemware and then plating, and many dishes of food. Lots of different prepared vegetables, and it seems like the main centerpiece in kind of a large uh, serving dish in the center of the table. Uh, Victorio kind of calls out that this is the um, Amphale braised beef, a a fine seasoned roast, at quite a traditional meal in the Waterdeep area among the noble families. the scent wafting off of it is quite delicious, smelling an interesting mix of spices. You kind of get these hints of, let's see here. You kind of get these hints of like oregano and thyme and garlic and onion, kind of coming off of this this braised roast in the middle of the table. And you all sit down, filing around, and for the next little while, you all kind of have a good meal amongst yourselves, and eat your fill. Victoro is happy to inform you, like as you all are kind of eating here, he says, "Well, it's been some time since I required your services. I'm happy to say that we haven't had any active threats after the children in recent months. I mean, we had the incident, of course, here with Willifort. Thankfully, that resolved without any loss on his part, but the channels have been quiet on the forces that seem to have been after my children for some time now. Perhaps, uh, thanks to you all in some fashion, you know, taking out of those demon worshippers here recently. Perhaps they were somewhat connected to this. I can't say I'm entirely sure, but maybe that put a stop to, or put some sort of kink in whatever dark plans they had for my children. So thank you for that, if that was the case. And even if it was not, thank you in either case. My children are still alive today, thanks to you. And I can't say enough. I can't say enough to thank you for that.
We were
Well,
happy to do
yeah.
it. Sorry to interrupt you, Zara. Go ahead there.
Uh, yeah. What Boo was saying, we were happy to help. Anyone who targets children is lower than low, especially for what we assume they had planned for yours.
Yes, well, it has been quiet for some time. I fear we have not seen the last of whatever they want with my children. But I will keep you in mind, of course, if something comes up again or I find out some more information. I'll be sure to let you know in case I have need of your assistance.
Yes, please do.
Tell everybody to come to our bar. It's the best bar in Waterdeep.
Well, do not worry there, friend. I have certainly passed word around about your tavern to people that I have met and look for a drink. It's the least I can do to, give you some boon to your business.
Tell them I killed a mind flayer. Like in front of you, I did that. Like, when did anybody see Durnan do that? I've seen him kill a troll, but a mind flayer? What? Just saying.
Well, Durnan certainly has quite a few adventures under his belt. I don't doubt that he's seen some things more dire than a mind flayer in his time, I'm sure.
Whatever.
So,
Good sir. Sorry, Zyar. Go ahead.
um, so what was it that you were wanting to share with us about the state of Waterdeep?
Well, I think for that, um, come, let us retire to my study here, and we can talk a little more in private about this matter. And he kind of stands up from the table here and motions for you all to kind of follow him. across the manor a little ways to his study. And Amalia follows after him as well.
I'll follow him eagerly.
Okay.
Are there rolls on the table?
Rolls? Yes, there are definitely rolls on the table.
All right, I'm gonna shove as many as I can fit in my pockets and then follow.
All right. Nice.
GQ is very food driven.
Clearly.
Yeah, I think Sayara is probably going to put some rolls in her bag for later. Just share a knowing look at Jinku.
So you all kind of file into his study here, which is, a very kind of cozy room. It's still decently large, but it has that kind of cozy atmosphere of, the kind of studies you'd see in, the upper class. Like the walls are all kind of paneled in this dark wood. Yeah, and there's many bookshelves lining the walls with quite a variety of tomes of sizes and shapes and age. There's a fireplace on one wall, kind of ringed with flagstones that has a nice fire going in it at the moment. And in the middle of the room, along with some quite comfortable-looking chairs, there is a table as well with some seating around it. Victorio kind of motions for you all to sit at, and he and Amalia take their place at the head of the table, and the chairs on that end.
I'm sitting down with him.
Okay. So as you all kind of take your places at the table, Victorio kind of looks around at all of you, and he like reaches under the table here at his feet, and he pulls out a small kind of wooden box, kind of ornately carved. And he opens the lid of the box, and inside, like Boo, you're sitting, fairly close. You're kind of eager to know what's going on, all this stuff. In this box, you see what almost looks like a smooth marble at first glance in this box. And, Victorio kind of looks at you all with kind of a serious look on his face and says, "Well, I believe when you all had the incident at the Gralhun Villa, there was something there that I believe you may have acquired that you may be wondering about to some extent."
Sayara just glances at Boo.
And
Well, if you've taken a look over that item at all, this ball, and he kind of pulls it out and he kind of turns it over in his hands, and in the firelight you can kind of see as he turns it, like there does appear to be like a pupil of some sort in this sphere. And he kind of turns around his hands and he says, "This may be of some use to you with the device that you have in your possession. Um, Let me explain a little bit about what is going on with this. So the item that you have come into possession is an artifact of quite some power. It is known as the Stone of Galore. And with this stone, which is the remains of an ancient creature that, at least from what I have been able to find in my studies, they were referred to as aboleths. This is the remains and eyes of these ancient creatures that once lived on this plane eons ago. You, of course, have some acquaintance with Raynar Neverember, I'm sure. Your first escapades in the city here, of course, were saving his life. His father, as you may know, was involved in somewhat of a conspiracy with the city, embezzling a large amount of funds, hiding them away somewhere, and using this artifact to erase the knowledge of where that had been hidden. Now, we may not be of small means here in our villa, and he kind of motions around him here. He says, but we do have a bit of a personal interest in finding out where Dagult Neverember hid these funds. As you've done work for us before, these demons that were after our children, I'm afraid to say they do have a reason why they are after our children. And it is something we regret quite a bit, and something that we would like to be able to put to rest, hopefully without the cost of their lives. Some time ago, my wife and I, and he kind of reaches over and kind of clasps his wife's hands. Some time ago, my wife and I were in a more destitute position in our lives, and we made the unfortunate decision to make a deal with a creature from the Nine Hells, who, in exchange for our children, when they came of a certain age, would grant us wealth and station here in Waterdeep. And as you can see, he kind of again motions around the villa around him here. As you can see, that paid off, but at the time we did not realize the debt that we had gotten ourselves into, young and foolish as we were. They already took our eldest son. He came of age on his 10th birthday, and the demons came and took him down to their pits. And I'm afraid we do not know what has become of him since, but for the sake of my mind and for the ease of my wife's mind, we try not to consider it, what has befallen them. But coming this summer, our twins here, they are coming up on a similar anniversary. And we fear that when that time comes, once again our creditor will come to collect. But we believe there may be some hope. In my studies that I have done in the years since we made this unfortunate arrangement, it seems there may be a deal that we can make with this demon to pay him off of sorts, with enough that he would be able to leave our children to us. We may not be able to get our eldest back, but at least our twins will still be safe. And the ritual that we have found is one that requires us to sacrifice one shy of 1,000,000 gold dragons, and sacrifice these through a ritual to this demon prince in payment to cancel out our debt to him. Now, from what we know of the funds that Raynar's father embezzled from the city, there is quite a significant sum more than 1,000,000 dragons in this vault of his. And, as well off as we are in this world, I'm afraid we're nowhere near that amount of wealth on our own, and we have no hope to be able to pay that in time for the inevitable reckoning of our children's lives. So, if you're willing, and he kind of holds up the little kind of marble eye, says, I will give this to you to use with this artifact. I believe there are other pieces you still need to acquire to fully obtain all the answers you seek. But this should at least start you along the path. But if you're willing to help us find this vault, and in part, enough of these gold dragons to our family to release us from this foolish pact that we have made, I must say we would be eternally grateful to you if we would have saved, not only our lives but our souls, I must say, but our children's lives as well. So, what say you?
How much beyond the 1,000,000 gold dragons is in this vault?
Well, at least from what we have been able to find, little records as there are, we believe the sum of gold dragons his father embezzled are somewhere in the realm of 6 or 7 million gold dragons, at least. Perhaps more. It's difficult to tell with the records, as piecemeal as they may be. Much of this information is from, looking through forged ledgers and other, missing books that, he siphoned funds away from the city for many years. So it could, very well be quite a bit more, and I'd be more than happy to let you all have the rest of it. Um, we're well enough off as it is now. Even with this paid off from this demonic pact that we made, we would still be fine as we are, and we would, get to continue being a family, alive, and our children would not suffer the same fate as their elder brother.
Well, if you're willing to share your information so we can find it, I can't speak for all the others, but I would be willing to risk all.
I'll
I
do it, but you have to make a deal with me. If
Okay.
you have another child, you have to name it Boo.
Well, that is certainly a much easier deal for us to stomach, I would say. Uh, a bit of an unusual name, it may be, but I believe that would be something we would be willing to do. And he kind of glances at his wife, if that happens to be.
All right, then let's do it, guys. What do you think? I think we can do this. I think got this themselves into this, but I could millions of gold could fund a lot of experiments. Mix.
I was thinking about my own alchemical laboratory. Think of the things I could make.
Who else do you think might know more about these and all? I imagine once we've agreed, he gave us the eyeball.
Yeah, like once you agreed, he kind of, he placed the eyeball back in this kind of wooden box that he was holding it in, and kind of slid it, over in front of you, Boo, So you're kind of looking it over. It's got this kind of like you're kind of turning it over in your hands here. It's like the eyeball is mostly kind of a deep, kind of a darker hue. It's kind of like this deep, kind of bluish black, and on one side there is, what looks to be kind of a small white pupil on one side. Um, but it seems that over the eons it's been since Aboleth's existed on these plains, it is kind of hardened into some sort of crystalline form in that time. But yeah, so you were asking about other people that might know, and he says, well, as you've seen in your time here in the city, there's a bit of a conflict between some of the underworld factions going on. The Xanathars, the Zentarim, perhaps others. I'm not entirely sure. Um, Word has gotten out about Dagalt's hidden fortune, and word has gotten out to the leaders of these groups that there is this artifact, this Stone of Galore, that is needed to locate and unlock the vault and gain access to the bounteous wealth that lies within. So, of course, they've taken a bit of an interest in this, and I believe much of the trouble you've seen in the city in these last few months has been due to this as well, as these artifacts have changed hands and been stolen piece by piece from each other in various fights. I mean, I believe the main receptacle of the stone, the main stone itself, I guess I would say, the Gralhunds had come by at some point. I believe they stole it off of a messenger. And then,
Could you
Raynar.
believe they just left that lying in the street and we found that too?
The what?
The one that the Gralhunds had. That's the one that we picked up, right? That we had to murder a bunch of people for, I think.
Yeah, well, the outside of Victoro here. So the stone, just kind of refresh your memory since it has been a little while since all this stuff happened. So you rescued Raynarm at the beginning of all of this, and he had been kidnapped by kind of the Xanathars and the Zentrums, who were also kind of fighting over him. And you may recall that he had a locket, his mother's locket, that was broken open and had something removed from it that he did not even know was there. Some small round object, which you assume is one of these eyes. And
Oh.
Raynar's friend, this gnome friend of his, was given the Stone of Galore by Dagult for safekeeping at some point. And he wished to meet up with Raynar to return this artifact to him, to keep it in the family, as it were. But the information about that was intercepted, and he was killed en route to deliver this artifact to Raynar. And the artifact was stolen by the Nimblewright that the Gralhunds owned, and they came into possession of the artifact off of him. The whereabouts of the other two eyes, you do not know at this time. Assumedly, somehow they're involved with these other gangs that are going on in the city. At least that seems to be the case. Like you've heard mention of these eyes multiple times in the past when you rescued Ott from being tortured by the Zentarims. He was being inquisitioned about the location of an eye, or who was in possession of an eye. There were a few other times where it had come up as well. But the main thing is the Grawlins. They stole this stone off of Raynar's gnome friend, and that eventually fell into your hands when you took out their Nimblewright, because Lady Grawlin had given the stone to the Nimblewright to escape, and you killed the Nimblewright before it got away, and then took the stone off its body. Which leads us to now.
So we have 2 of the eyes.
You have
Or
one of the
the-
eyes. You have. Let me get you the picture of the thing. Okay, hold on. Let's see.
Well, no, wouldn't we have 2 with the one that they're
Yeah.
giving us right
Yeah.
now?
No,
yeah, there was one in it.
there was not one in it. They were all
No,
empty.
we just had the thing that the holes, because that's where the whole Torta losing an eye, wearing an
Yeah.
eye patch now came from.
I
Okay,
actually got his eyeball in my pocket. I'll pull it out and try and fit it in the thing.
So this is the stone. So up until now, all you guys had was that like main stone piece with the sockets, and the 3 sockets were empty. Now you have one of the eyes that was given to you by Victoria the Sale.
Oh, okay.
The
so
other 2 are
the
still at large.
socket thingy is what we got from the Nimblewright.
Yes, what you got for the Nimblewright
Okay.
was like this kind of pearlescent stone remnant of this aboleth.
I think we were confused because they were all being referred to as stones.
Yeah, I mean they are all stones now with how long it's been since the aboleth lived. But yeah, you have the socket thing. That's what you were trying to carve people's eyeballs out to fit into the holes, and it wasn't really working well. But now you have one of these eyes, and the other 2 are at large.
Okay.
And it seems you need all 4 parts of the artifact to be able to undo whatever magics had been cast to make everybody forget the location of this vault.
And apparently summon Cthulhu.
And if here, we'll get you a since you may not know. Here's an aboleth. This is the ancient creature that this is from, or a part of.
Oh.
That was
Well,
fun.
that's the thing of nightmares.
Yeah, let me
That's 3 rows of teeth?
So I'll give you a little kind of fun info about aboleths. I'm gonna Victoria's probably gonna we'll assume Victoria probably told you some of this, so it makes sense. So aboleths were massive, kind of amphibious creatures that were 20, 30, 40 feet in size. These kind of long, strange eel-like creatures. They had very, very powerful psionic abilities. And they lived, at least, several, eras of the world ago. Like, the world of Faerun has been kind of remade a time or two, with big magic happenings. Won't go into too much detail about, but several of those ago, these were around. So this is a very, very ancient artifact, like thousands upon thousands of years. So, yeah, they were very intelligent creatures, very cruel. One of the most dangerous things. Yeah, actually, yeah, probably among one of the most dangerous things in the universe. They are able to remember many, many, many terrible secrets, due to the way that their minds work, which is kind of related to how we got here with all of this. Very interesting race. There's a lot of really cool lore videos about aboleths that if you're ever bored, like go look up on like YouTube, like aboleth lore, D&D videos. They're pretty interesting, actually. Neat stuff. But anyways, so yeah.
Your neat stuff.
So yeah, so you're now in possession of this, and Victorio, he slid this box over to you, kind of explaining, more about some of the history of these things, and kind of looks at you all and says, "Well, I must say I'm already, I simply accepting this for our family, like, I'm indebted to you already as we are. I mean, hopefully you will be more merciful to us than the last time we made a deal."
Absolutely, good sir. We're, we're not exactly not being compensated for this. That's quite a large sum of money.
Yes. Well, I mean, I've come to realize over the years that while, the money and power that we craved when we were younger and more impulsive, perhaps is not quite as important as the familial bonds that we've gotten since that time. But
Speak for yourself.
well, we have gotten somewhat comfortable in this life in that time. But I think now, even if we were to lose it all, I think losing our children would be more of a devastation than losing all of this. We already did it
Well,
once with our other son, and that nearly broke us, I must say.
well, I guess we need to start talking to our contacts to find out where the possibility of these other two eyes are located.
Yes, certainly, and I will continue to do whatever research I can, and anything I find, I will be more than happy to relay to you. Your success is our success. Your success is my family's life. So I will do what I can.
Uh, since we're probably going to need some special stuff for this, Victoria, do you know where I could hire an assistant for my? I have a small alchemy lab in our basement, and while I'm out helping these fine folks, he kind of just gag coughs at that. I would need somebody to assist me in the library or in my lab.
Well, I can't say I know of anyone right off the top of my head, but I believe you already have some dealings with the Blackstaff Tower. I'm certain there are alchemical researchers there that would be, or alchemical students there, perhaps, that would be more than willing to assist. Perhaps inquire there.
Well, I was just seeing if you knew of any other resources. But yeah, I was planning on that.
Wonderful. Well, this has been a productive evening. I hope that you all understand a little more about the goings on of this fair city that you've kind of found yourself embroiled in unknowingly all this time. Well, we will speak again soon.
Yes, we shall. Hopefully, the food will be just as good.
Certainly, we'll be more than happy to have you over anytime. So, Victorio stands and motions you all out the door of his study here and bids you adieu to make your way back to Troll Skull with this additional piece of the puzzle in hand. So with that, I think we'll call that good for tonight. It's a good stopping spot. Info dump time. Let's see who else. Let me see if there's anybody else I know who's on right now. Let's see. Looks like Fable Forge is on right now. Cool. We'll go raid Fable Forge. Let's see. Raid Fable Forge RPG. All right. And to all of you who came and watched, thank you all for sticking around. Always happy to have you here for D&D night. And we will see you all. Bye.
Bye.
All right. And to all of you who came and watched, thank you all for sticking around. Always happy to have you here for D&D night. And we will see you all.
Who else thought we were totally gonna die tonight?
Definitely.